Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be diving deep into the fascinating world of spoken English, specifically how native speakers connect their words so smoothly.
Yeah.
And we'll be using a really cool video lesson from English Voice Club as our guide.
It's called linking. And it's
Mhm.
kind of like this hidden code.
Ooh, a code.
Yeah, that unlocks a whole new level of fluency for English speakers.
So we're like code breakers today. I'm into it. Let's start cracking this code. The video starts with consonants.
Okay.
And explains that when two words share the same consonant sound, native speakers will often pronounce them as one word.
Yeah. So think of it like this. Instead of saying like red dress with two separate D sounds,
Yeah.
it kind of becomes more like redress with a single like lengthened D sound.
Mhm. Oh, so the consonant's like a bridge between the two words.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Okay, so it's all about the sound, not necessarily the spelling then.
You got it. So even if you have words like look cool, where the K sound is actually represented by two different letters, you still link them together.
Oh, cool.
Which is why it's really helpful for English learners to have a good understanding of phonetics,
Mhm.
the actual sounds.
That makes sense. Okay, so the video also mentions some exceptions to this consonant linking, though, right?
Right. So certain consonant sounds like the sheep in each choice or the J sound in like orange juice, they're typically not linked
Hmm.
because if you try and force that link, it ends up sounding super unnatural.
Oh. Yeah, I can see how that would sound weird. Okay, so it's about finding that balance between connecting sounds and maintaining clarity, right?
Exactly.
But then how do we know, which consonants we can link smoothly?
Well, that's where phonetics comes in again. So consonants can be either voiced or unvoiced.
Voiced or unvoiced?
Yeah, so it has to do with whether or not your vocal cords are vibrating when you make the sound.
Oh.
And what the video points out is that you can often link consonants together very smoothly if they share that voicing characteristic.
Wait, hold on. You're going to have to break that down for me. I'm five voice and unvoiced consonants. What's all that about?
Okay, sure. It's simpler than it sounds, I promise. Try saying Z like a buzzing bee. Yeah. Do you feel that like buzzing in your throat?
Oh, yeah.
That's your vocal cords vibrating.
Yeah.
And that makes Z a voiced consonant.
Okay.
Now try saying S.
S.
No buzzing, right?
Yeah.
That's an unvoiced consonant.
Ooh, I see.
So these voiced and unvoiced pairs like S and Z or like P and B, we can link those super smoothly in phrases like cheese sandwich
Oh, yeah. Cheese sandwich. I hear it.
or cat band.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so it's only those pairs, or can we link other consonants this way too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you can also link other consonant pairs like D and T, K and G, and F and V. It's all about like finding those sounds that just naturally flow together,
Yeah.
The more you listen for these links in like natural speech, the more you'll start to internalize those patterns.
Okay, this is already making me hear spoken English in a totally new way, I swear. I'm ready for the next level of this code crapping mission. So consonants with consonants, check. What about linking consonants to vowels? What happens there?
Now, that's where things get really interesting.
Oh, good.
This is actually one of the most common types of linking that happens in English. So imagine this sentence. Do you remember that time when Anna and Amy fell in the swimming pool?
Okay, that's a lot. Where do we even begin with linking in a sentence like that?
Let's take it step by step. So the video uses the example of when Anna.
Okay.
So instead of saying when and then Anna, we kind of blend them together into like when and not.
No. Okay, yeah. So the N sound jumps over.
It acts as a bridge.
Yeah, like a little springboard.
Exactly.
It does make it sound way smoother.
Right. And we do this all the time.
Yeah.
Think of a phrase like an elephant in the garden. All those consonants at the ends of an elephant they're going to link with those vowels that come right after them.
So it's like we're blurring the lines between the words when we speak, even though when we write them, they're separate.
Exactly.
That's so cool. The video even suggests that to get the hang of this, it might be helpful to actually picture the consonant as if it's at the beginning of the second word.
Yeah, like visually move it over.
Ah!
Even though it looks weird on paper, it makes sense when you think about how we're actually saying it.
Yeah, that's a really clever trick. Okay. So consonants with consonants, consonants with vowels, check and check. What's next?
We've got one final piece of the puzzle, and it's almost like magic at first. It's linking vowels to vowels.
Whoa. Vowel to vowel.
Yeah, are you ready to unlock the secrets of this sonic sorcery?
Bring it on. Let's do it. All right, vowel to vowel linking. I'm excited to dive into that. But before we get there, I'm still kind of thinking about that marathon sentence we had before, the one about Anna and Amy falling in the pool. Could we maybe break that down a little bit more? Like hearing a real world example would really help me wrap my head around all these linking concepts.
Absolutely. It's one thing to just talk about the idea, but you really need to hear it in action to truly master these techniques.
For sure.
So let's revisit that sentence. Do you remember that time when Anna and Amy fell in the swimming pool?
Okay, let's play detective and find those hidden links.
Love it. Okay, so starting at the very beginning,
Hmm.
notice how do you smoothly transforms into more like do you.
Yeah.
We're naturally inserting a W sound there to bridge the gap between those vowels.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it. It's like a little glide between those two vowels.
Exactly.
Cool. And then what about that time?
So that time, that T sound at the end of that is going to act as a bridge to link smoothly with time, almost like they're a single unit.
Right. And then like when Anna, that becomes Winona, like you explained
Hmm.
before. And it's interesting because in Amy does the same kind of thing with the D sound, carrying us right into Amy.
You got it. It's almost like a rhythmic dance between the words.
Yeah. Okay, so then towards the end, fell in links nicely too, with the L sound connecting to that vowel sound of in. Man, I'm starting to hear these links everywhere now.
That's the power of our brains. We've been absorbing these patterns since we were kids, so they just feel natural.
Makes sense. So it's like we really have unlocked a secret code. Okay, let's try some shorter phrases just to really get comfortable with those links. How about an elephant in the garden?
Perfect. So an elephant links smoothly with that N sound, acting as a connector. And then in those link beautifully with the N sound again, like a chain reaction.
I'm noticing that not only does it make it easier to pronounce, but it also kind of makes it more musically pleasing to listen to.
You're exactly right. Linking isn't just about clarity. It actually adds this rhythmic quality to the spoken language. You could almost say it gives it like cadence and intonation, almost like music.
Wow, that's so interesting. Okay, I want to try one more. How about, these are the best tomatoes I've ever had?
Perfect. This sentence is packed with opportunities for linking. These are links with the Z sound. The best connects with the T sound I've ever flows together with the V sound. It's a consonant linking extravaganza.
This is starting to feel less like rules and more like just like how you naturally talk.
Exactly. The goal is to move beyond consciously thinking about each link and just have it become instinctive, like riding a bike.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, before we move on to the grand finale of vowel-to-vowel linking, let's just recap everything we've learned so far. So with consonants, we can link them when two words share the same consonant sound.
Yeah, even if the spelling's different.
Right, right.
And we can link those consonant pairs that share those voicing qualities like S and Z or P and B.
Yes. And then we have consonant-to-vowel linking, where we connect that final consonant of a word to the vowel sound that starts the next one.
And remember that helpful tip. Try visualizing the consonant moving to the beginning of that second word.
Yeah.
It really can make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, you ready to uncover the magic behind linking vowels to vowels now?
I'm ready. This is where it gets really cool because we get to see how we actually use these subtle consonant sounds to bridge the gap between vowels to create that super smooth, effortless flow that makes natural English sound so natural.
Okay, let's do it. All right, we've made it. Vowel to vowel linking. I gotta admit, this one always kind of stumped me. How do you connect two vowel sounds without it being like super awkward?
Yeah, it is definitely a little more subtle than linking consonants, but it's just as important if you want to sound really smooth and natural in English.
Okay.
You see, when two vowels meet, English speakers just naturally add in a little consonant sound to bridge the gap.
Wait, we like add a whole extra consonant sound. That does sound like magic.
It's kind of like magic, but it's really just our brains finding the smoothest and easiest way to transition from one sound to another. And the video tells us there are two main players in this vowel linking magic. It's the W sound and the J sound.
Oh, okay. So can you give me an example of how the W sound would work?
Sure, think of a phrase like two apples. So we don't actually pronounce those as two separate words with two distinct vowels. We slip in a W sound and it ends up sounding more like two W apples.
Two W apples. Oh my gosh, yeah, I hear it. It's like a tiny little ramp between the O of two and the A of apples. That's so subtle, I never even noticed it before.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the point. It's meant to be almost invisible, just smoothing out the flow of speech.
That's pretty cool. Okay, what about the J sound then? Can you give me an example for that one?
Yeah, for sure. So imagine a phrase like he asked.
He asked. Yeah, I hear it. It's like we're saying, he asked. That little J sound totally makes a difference.
Exactly. It's those subtle little additions that really create a sense of effortless fluency.
Oh.
Now, I know what you might be thinking.
How do we know when to use W and when to use J?
You read my mind. Well, the good news is you don't need to memorize any complicated rules. It really becomes more intuitive the more you practice.
Oh, phew. Okay, so less rules, more practice.
Got it. Exactly. The more you listen to native speakers and pay attention to how they're doing this, you'll start to hear it, and your ear will kind of guide you.
So it's more about training our ears than anything else.
Exactly. And honestly, if you're ever not sure, just try both. Try the W and the J and see which one feels more natural in the context.
Oh, that's a good tip. This
Yeah.
is amazing. It's like I'm learning to speak English all over again, but like with this new understanding of like the secret code underneath.
I love that. And the best part is now that you're aware of it, you're going to start hearing it everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Okay, so just to recap, today we've covered those three main types of linking, right? Consonant to consonant, consonant to vowel, and then, of course, this super fascinating vowel to vowel linking.
Yeah, we did it.
Who knew that there was so much to learn about how we connect sounds in English?
It's really remarkable how much complexity there is just hidden in plain sight. But I think, as we've been saying, the real key is just to practice. The more you listen for these links, the more you try to use them yourself. Even if you exaggerate them a little bit at first, the more natural and effortless they'll become.
This deep dive has seriously changed how I hear and speak English. I feel like I've been given the keys to the kingdom of fluency.
I'm so glad. It's been awesome exploring all this with you. So, listeners, as you go out into the world and listen to English being spoken all around you, remember to keep your ears peeled for those linking sounds. Don't be afraid to experiment and try them out yourselves.
Yeah, have fun with it.
The more you embrace the music of spoken English, the more fluent and confident you'll become.
What a great note to end on. So, listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of linking. We encourage you to go out and play detective, listen for those linking sounds, see if you can spot them, and maybe you'll even discover some cool linking patterns that we didn't even talk about today. Happy linking, everyone!